Have you ever wondered what it would look like if Neil Breen were given a big budget? Like if he were given millions of dollars to make the biggest and most expensive, incoherent, paranoid, conspiratorial cluster at all possible. If he were given free reign and a budget from Amazon to make a contradictory, incoherent, rambling mess, what would that look like? But it would seem that no one ever has to ask this question for a second time because I'm the first person to ever ask it. Because today we have War of the Worlds 2025. Another reiteration of that story that came out in the 1890s that seems to get progressively worse the longer we get away from the original publication. War of the Worlds is a Amazon Prime original film starring Ice Cube, Eva Longoria. I don't know and is an absolutely horribly made, very expensive, poorly written, poorly acted, horribly paced. It would have been less expensive to just give me $1 million and I can fart on it with flames. It was an absolute nightmare in a way that made me feel oddly nostalgic. For those of you that are new to my channel, hello, I'm Kendall, by the way. If you're new around here, welcome. Not new around here, what is up, home? Scale of biscuit. I love garbage. It's one of the things that keep me sane. If I watch too many good things one after another, I kind of lose my mind. I watched Hitchcock's Rope not too long ago for like the third time. Such a good movie. Highly recommend it if you've never seen it. I saw Weapons. Freaky. Loved it. Would go see again. Definitely recommend. Weird as like it more than Barbarian. Yeah, I've just been watching a lot of good shows, watching too much quality media, and I needed something shitty, but not Tubi shitty. Because people always recommend like Tubi, watch something from Passion Flix or something like that. And I'm like, no, there's a particular type of shit that I am craving and I'm finding is more and more difficult to find these days because I may have watched all of them at this point. This seems to have scratched that itch and now I'll never have to scratch it for at least another year and a half. I don't ever want to see another movie like this anytime soon. Absolute dog shit. War of the Worlds is an adaptation of the story that came out in 1898 about alien invaders that come to Earth. In this rendition though, it is a screen life movie, meaning that every shot of the film is through the eyes of some form of camera setup, whether that be a webcam, FaceTime, security cameras, the like. It's a trend that was a lot more popular in like the late 2010s. I'm thinking like Unfriended and a few other movies prior to that. Honestly, I absolutely hate this, I guess, subgenre or whatever, because there's nothing you can do to not be corny as shit. Because it's always the world's falling apart around you and you're still just at your camera like, oh my God, no, Becca! Type. It's dumb. And it's not the same as like a found footage, which I feel has something to ground it more. This is just dumb. So this movie, again, is already working with a glass half empty in that regard. But then you add in this like intergalactic technical thriller element, which is all just a very thinly veiled, long Amazon Prime ad. Also nostalgic, how blatant the product placement is in this movie. They don't do it like this anymore. There's pros and cons to that. Again, I don't know if I've minced words up until this point, but the movie sucks ass. It's definitely one of those movies that you put on to not watch. You know what I mean? Like you put it on so that your dog isn't lonely when you go out, or you put it on because you just need something to fill the silence when you're definitely slapping cheeks on your mattress on the floor. What? That's so specific. You don't have to pay attention that close. It's a smooth like 89 minutes, which doesn't mean that it's good. Despite being so short, it feels so long. Oh my God. And it's kind of impressive that it feels so long considering there's always something happening. Often there's like 4 or 5 things happening at the same time and it's all like overlapping. But I think the thing that's most egregious about this movie outside of the product placement, because it is impressively blatant, the thing that I think is particularly bad is that it was made with a budget of $65 million. $65 million to a straight to streaming screen life thriller. Money is not real. Again, this trash was able to get $65 million of funding. Mind you, that money wasn't used well at all. The CGI looks like shit. Absolute garbage. Complete mess. I was trying to say fire trash. mess all at the same time. It's all of those things and more. Also, I don't know if it is the screen life thing or just because the script is so bad or a mixture of the two, but everyone who's in this movie gives the worst performance I've ever seen them give. Like, I've never known Ice Cube to be some incredibly well-versed actor. I've seen him in things and he's done fine. Fine in a way that isn't distractingly bad. To some degree, in those roles, that's all I really wanted or expected. But he's so bad in this movie. Just monotone. He has no differentiation in his emotions or his emotional performance. He's stiff and unyielding. He's terrible. He's truly awful. Eva Longoria, again, is in it for some reason, and she does fine, again, I guess, with what she's given, but she also behaves like a idiot because that's what the script told her to do. Absolute dog shit mess in a way that made me feel oddly nostalgic. So I guess I kind of appreciate it for that. The film follows Will Radford, an overly intrusive Homeland Security officer that spends just as much of his time stalking his own children as he does doing anything to combat terrorism or whatever the his actual job is. His children, Faith and Dave, have not had the best relationship with him due to his incessant breaches of their privacy. But when the world is taken over by an extraterrestrial, data-draining alien machine thing that has fallen to Earth via meteor strikes, Will must do whatever it takes to save his family from the existential threat that these aliens pose to civilization. Absolute dog shit. Complete mess. Hated it. Oh, also it's like very nauseating to watch. Like the going and jerking back and forth is actually really hard to deal with, like looking at. Every scene, again, is supposed to be filmed with like a webcam or FaceTime camera. So everything is unstabilized and people are running while holding their phones and shit and dropping phones and stuff. And it's like, bitch, I'm already dealing with robot aliens, okay? Now you want me to deal with vertigo? You're asking too much of me. Too damn much of me. Like, it's stupid and ham-fisted in a way that isn't kitschy or campy, but in like the kind of cynical product placement way. Again, it's a giant Amazon Prime ad. Like, oh no, the world is ending, but guess I'll still get my packages via Amazon Prime drones. Like, bitch, what?
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you.
How?
Prime Air.
Prime Air.
It's an embarrassing piece of horse ass that I'm going to talk about today because I watched it, so I need to make it worth it. And it was so bad that I've actually stayed up well past my bedtime. It is 11 o'clock at night. I am 30. I go to sleep at 10:45 on the dot. But it was so bad that I had to sit down with my night light on and a good wig to tell y'all how bad War of the Worlds 2025 is. So that's what I'm going to do. Hello everyone, it's Admiral Kennie and today's video is sponsored by ZocDoc. As I get older, it's becoming more and more apparent that I have to make active decisions to make my body and mind feel good. And part of the ways that I can do that is by keeping up with my medical appointments, which is not an easy feat to do because it feels like there's so many different people you gotta make appointments with. You got your PCP, your dentist, your OBGYN, your endocrinologist, your psychotherapist, optometrist, dermatologist. There's just so many appointments to keep up with. And that's assuming you even know who to go to. But that's where ZocDoc comes in. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search, compare, filter, and book doctors all at the same place. You can search in-network appointments of over 100,000 healthcare providers across nearly every specialty. Filter by doctors that take your insurance, doctors that are nearby, and rated highly by verified patients. Check out their appointment schedules and find an appointment time that works best for you. And those appointments tend to happen quickly, usually between 24 and 72 hours. It makes the process of finding and scheduling a doctor that much simpler so that you're more likely to actually follow through and take care of your health. So if you would like to check out ZocDoc, feel free to click on the link down below. That's ZocDoc.com/KennieJD. Big thanks again to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery. So let's talk about War of the Worlds. That is hard to say. 2025. We meet Will Radford, DHS officer and piece of shit dad. And very quickly we find out that he spends most of his time invading his children's privacy and the privacy of just average citizens, but mostly his own children. Like in between spying on his children though, he does do his job kind of, where currently he is looking out for some high level hacker terrorist by the name of the Disruptor. Think, you know, anonymous or whatever. It's everything that you would think of the stereotypical hacker guy guy in a crappy movie, black hoodie, voice modulator, you get it. But the Disruptor seems to be the big adversary for Will as well as the entire DHS office. He's friends with Eva Longoria. She has a name. Her character has a name. I didn't catch it because it's distracting because that's Eva Longoria. She does not disappear into the role at all. Because if anything, every time I see her, I'm like, what are you doing here? You're so much better than this. Why are you here? Eva Longoria plays a NASA scientist slash meteorologist person, and she reaches out to Will to ask him about these storms that she's seeing. Why she's reaching out to a DHS officer to talk about storms and shit when she works at NASA, I don't know. But again, not supposed to think that hard about it, I guess. They're like very strange storms that she's never seen this particular pattern before, and it has her a bit concerned and worried. But he responds the way I would think he would, which is, I don't know nothing about that. Bye. You know, I can't help you with that. I gotta listen to strangers talk to their spouses about how they mad at them for getting milk or something. Like, I got bigger things to worry about. But just then, he gets his newest communication from the Disruptor, claiming to have top secret information about something called the Goliath Project. Goliath seems to be somewhat of a conspiracy theory amongst people who follow the Disruptor that believes that the government collects everyone's personal data and houses it so that they can use it against us. The Disruptor also threatens to release files on the Goliath program that detail the entirety of the existential threat of it. Now, most people think this person is a quack. There's no such thing as Goliath. It is a conspiracy theory with no foundation. And that's basically where Will is with that. He's like, okay, but we are going to take this guy down because he's threatening to hack the US government. While he's doing his job, he can't just do his job, which is look into this guy that's threatening to hack the US government. He also needs to be too involved in his adult daughter's life as she buys a muffin, because he doesn't want her eating a muffin because she's pregnant, and he had hacked into her refrigerator and saw that she wasn't eating enough protein, and that's bad for the baby. As you can see, he's way too involved in certain aspects, particularly invasive by using technology to be all up in his children's business. Speaking of which, he also gets a notification that his adult son spent about $250 on video games, which he cancels, going through, again, using his hacking skills. The son, Dave, calls to complain about it, at which Will tells him to get a real job. You just stay home all day playing video games. The son insinuates that he is a streamer of some sort or plays video games for a living, and he doesn't want to work down at DHS or NSA because why would I do that to just spend my life spying on people's Amazon carts?
Spying on what's in people's Amazon carts?
Is that what you think I do?
Now, this line, the Amazon carts thing, comes up so many times. It wasn't good or clever the first time, okay? It was very overt product placement, not very subtle. We knew what we were getting. But the fact that they actually repeat this line 3 or 4 times in the movie, something about Amazon carts or spying on Amazon carts, just generally speaking, product placement isn't a thing that bothers me all the time. I do think that sometimes product placement, if done well, can do things to like enhance the story, especially if we're talking about like dystopian futures with aliens and stuff. Is like there's something very dystopian about product placement in that context, right? There's ways to do it. I think there can also be something kind of tongue-in-cheek about product placement in that context. Like, yes, even in the apocalypse, we still have to plug Coca-Cola or something like that. There's something funny in that. But this movie is so egregious with it. It's like not even funny. It's very annoying. It's incredibly dumb and stupid. And the movie doesn't do much to suck you in anyway. But in the rare occasions that you're kind of watching the movie, here they go being like, oh, I can get free fast shipping with Amazon Prime if I just, if I can stave off the apocalypse for a little bit longer, I can, like, what the It's not interesting. It's a fucking mess. It's sloppy. It definitely feels like a quota that needed to be reached in the making of the movie. Like, here, we'll give you $65 million, but you have to bring up Amazon a minimum of 5 times in the movie. Overtly. You can't do it subtle. It can't be like, oh, that makes sense in the way the story have. No, we gotta make it worth it. But beyond that, again, all you need to know is that Will doesn't respect his children's privacy, and that is definitely causing big fissures between him and his children. Another fact that I guess rounds out Will is that he has a dead wife. That makes sense in these type of movies. They always have a dead spouse. We don't really hear much about her other than she did and passed on and no longer with us and deceased and dead as cremated, no longer with us. She died like 4 years ago. And the only remnants of her that remains are the things that are still in his house, as well as some like voice notes that he had from her on Facebook. And he'll just like message, "I miss you," to her account that is just there in her memory. But with his wife's death, it seems that that has left him to grieve in a way that has constricted his relationship with his children in order to protect them. But honestly, it's just being an asshole. It's just being really shitty to your kids. But that's enough plot. We need an Amazon plug. His daughter, Faith, she is pregnant, and her boyfriend and father of the child is a dude named Mark, who is kind of dopey and silly, but he's also an Amazon driver. And he's well-meaning, bumbling guy. He's a well-meaning, bumbling guy. While chatting with Will, he accidentally spills the beans that there's going to be a baby shower for her, but Will has not been invited. He didn't even know that there was a baby shower happening, but because Faith didn't invite him, because he's being a piece of shit. Now, he could talk to her about it, articulate that he would like to be there and that it hurt his feelings or whatever, communicate with his child, but he doesn't do that. He breaks into her Facebook to look at her messages between her boyfriend, and Mark is basically saying like, "Oops, I accidentally spilled the beans." And Faith is like, "Yeah, whatever," but he doesn't see me as an adult and doesn't think I can make my own decisions, and it's very annoying. No time for that, though. You'll notice that I'll just say that a lot. There's no time for that because there's no time for anything. It's incredibly fast paced, but somehow that makes it feel very long because like a lot is happening, but also nothing is happening, and kind of a lot is happening and nothing at all. Will thinks he knows where the disruptor is by tracing some IP address information, and they send a warrant over to the FBI to go ransack where they think it is, only to find out that it's just another decoy that led them away from the disruptors. But while they're there, suddenly Earth gets pummeled, has a meteor shower rain down on every place of Earth, even though no country seemed to have seen it coming. What we will find later, which is very stupid. I cannot stress enough how stupid this is. But in the grand scheme of everything happening in this movie, to linger on this bullshit will just make this video go way longer than it needs to go. But basically, no one sees these meteors coming. And that's because the meteors hit a bunch of satellites that would inform people on Earth that they're on their way. And I just think people who are smart enough to put satellites up there are smart enough to have a mechanism to let you know when they are no longer working. I'm sure if everybody at the same time was like, "Wow, our satellites are kind of what's going on with that?" they would probably know, but I digress. Will, who's in DC, ends up getting hit really hard with meteors, and he's trying to check in on his children to make sure that they're okay. He ends up finding Faith in her lab because she's also a scientist of her own. She studies biomolecular something smarty pants. So she's at least safe in her lab for the time being. Dave is out running, trying to escape the meteor shower, and somehow Will is able to follow him with GPS, which is interesting considering wouldn't one of the things that wouldn't work if the satellites are down GPS? I digress. Meanwhile, meteorologist Eva Longoria goes to check out the meteors that have fallen. And for some reason, she touches it with her bare hands. Come to find out, the meteors are not meteors. They're actually these tripod alien thingies that have like long legs, kind of jellyfish-like structures that shoot beams at anything that just happens to be in their way as they're walking through, seemingly aimlessly through the cities around the world. Dave, who's eventually able to get back home and contact his father, tells him adamantly that he needs to let Dave help with whatever investigation he's doing. Dave has a background in like computer stuff, but he seems particularly adamant that his dad let him join in whatever he's doing to protect the world right now. Will is like, nah. He shuts that down pretty quickly. So the aliens start having a full-blown temper tantrum, just destroying everything in its wake. They all seem to be converging at different areas around the world that have data centers. In the midst of the attack, for some reason, Faith goes outside. I don't know why. Maybe they said it and I missed it. I'm not watching that movie a third time. Not doing it. She goes outside, ends up running away from one of the aliens, falls, gets something that like perforates her thigh, like a piece of wood or maybe a sharp object of some sort. She can't really move. And she's updating Will about all of this on FaceTime. Will is able to look at her heart rate because he's hacked into her heart monitor as well. That's crazy. Will is also locked inside of the DHS building. I don't know why they locked him in there. Also, as the hacker guy, wouldn't you be able to get yourself out of it? Anyway, but he's able to hack into a nearby Tesla. All the electric vehicles you could use. Anyway, and get her in the car and have it self-drive to a hospital. During this, he has to have his sentimental moment with his kid that he barely talks to in any like real way, where he's like, I understand why you didn't invite me to your baby shower. And she's like, now, which is what I said too. But I guess when else can you do it? Like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I bet she's not having it now, bitch. The world. I will say, at least the movie didn't do the cliche of her like giving birth in the middle of the apocalypse, because that shit's very annoying. But she's like, the problem, Dad, is that you think that you can control everything and you can't. You gotta let things go. You gotta let it go. The sentimental music plays and he's like, oh, I'm trying to conserve battery, you know, goodbye. Instead, he breaks into Mark's Amazon van. Again, it's been too long. We haven't said the word Amazon. And tells him where her location is so that he can go and check up on her. With the world being attacked by aliens, it is the one thing that seems to bring together all of the nations of the world to fight together, to be as one. It's like a Jaw sequel. Isn't that what happened? I never saw any of the Jaw movies. What if Alien and Predator came together to destroy the Mothman or whatever, you know? Everybody comes together, make the world military to fight the existential threat of the alien thingies. Everybody putting aside their differences to save humanity. Power to Homo sapiens. Yep. When Will goes to check on Faith again, he finds that she has left the car and took the thing out of her leg, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do. And she's losing a lot of blood. Mark is there to make things better by using packing tape to stop her bleeding. I'm sure it works in a pinch. Wouldn't recommend it. Also, I'm almost positive that's the wrong leg, but I'm not gonna worry about it because she definitely had it stabbed in the other leg the last time. No. Anyway, Dave calls again, trying to convince his father to let him help him because he doesn't understand the deep state, saying that the whole secret project of Goliath, he doesn't even understand. Will doesn't even understand, even though he works in national security. He shuts that down again. You don't know what you're talking about. Eventually, the whole world comes to find out that the aliens are going towards data centers. Meteorologist Eva Longoria, though, goes to one of the fallen ones that got hit with a missile and notices that there's actually little bugs inside of it. And those are actually the things that are going to go into the data centers. So the big tripod things are more of like a Trojan horse, but the little bugs are what's going in to these data centers and consuming all of the data in these data centers. They're attracted to data. They're attracted to technology, phones, SD cards, anything that has data, and it consumes it. And the more data it consumes, the more it can control the technology already on the ground. So with the whole military, the world military coming after the aliens, they're able to hack into planes and weapons and missiles and whatnot, submarines, and absolutely hack them so that they're completely useless. So instead, soldiers have to have a fully manual attack on foot of these things to get things going because they are hacking shit. We gotta go full 1812, bring out the musket. The disruptor comes back out saying, basically, I told y'all about the Goliath thing, but y'all don't want to listen to me. Basically, Goliath exists under the DHS building and the aliens have come to get that. And they will not stop until they find it. During this video, though, Will realizes that if you just play with the pitch a little bit, you can realize that the voice of the disruptor is Dave's voice. The disruptor is Dave. It's his son, which is so dumb. If all you had to do was play around in GarageBand with the pitch of his voice, you telling me Ace Hacker didn't think they could do that when they first found out about that? They're just now thinking like, hey, if I play with the doohickey a little bit, I can figure out who it, embarrassing. Dave is a part of an underground hacking team that is hell-bent on exposing and combating the Goliath secret mission in which the government is trying to subjugate all of humanity by holding their data hostage. Now that Will, though bewildered, understands that his son is a hacker against the government, Dave sends over a file about all the information that he has gathered about Goliath through iMessage. Again, for some ace hackers, you have never, real hacking shit, eh? But anyway, upon reading the information, Will goes rogue and he's like, wow, the government's been lying to me? That's crazy. I never would have thought. The government will lie to me. Not only does Goliath exist, the head of DHS, which is a dude named Briggs, aka Will's boss, has known about the dangers of Goliath and how it can attract these extraterrestrial data munching beings to come to Earth. And instead of heeding the warnings of people at like NASA who said, don't do something like this, don't hold a database with that much data because it'll attract these aliens, he said, y'all, I want all the power to subjugate humanity. And Will is like, wow, they doing this just to spy on people's Amazon carts.
Risked all of our lives just to spy on people's Amazon carts.
It's the second time they've said that, okay? Explicitly, spying on Amazon carts. So he confronts the Briggs dude, basically saying the same thing, like, y'all wild as and Briggs is like, well, if you got a problem with it, I'm gonna fire you. So they kick his ass out of DHS. And the disruptors offer to help him again as hackers. So they're able to get him back into the DHS system. And they decide to work together to create a virus to corrupt the bug thingies in return for complete immunity. Will then takes the time to make a little YouTube video to tell everybody that he is now joining the hack squad, even though don't nobody know who that is. Also, we're trying to survive the current apocalypse. Who the cares that some random dad has joined the hacking team? You could have just hack it. Just do the job. You spent 20 minutes making a YouTube edit. Oh my God. But anyway, they send out this virus to up the tripod alien thingies, and it seems to work at first, but they end up tweaking and being able to hone in on whoever made the virus that is sent out to them, which would be Dave. So they go and they hone in on Will's house and it blows up, and he's like, oh no, Dave's dead. But there's a lot of fake outs like, oh my God, my baby dead, oh my God, my children dead. But they never did. They just did a little switcheroo. They just dropped the phone for a little bit. He was at somebody else's house and was able to bounce his IP address, I guess, over to the other place. Eventually, meteorologist slash now biologist, biologist, Eva Longoria finds out that these beings are both machine and alive. Like they're biological and cyber hybrid organisms. Faith, the biology researcher, I don't know what the she does. Her and Dave work together to create a code that is both a machine and I guess, like a virus that will make the organism cannibalize itself. This movie sucks. Right as they figure that out, the government decides whatever little technology we got that's working, we should use that to bomb DHS. For some reason, they going towards that bitch. Let's bomb it. Will is like, I'm going to go down to underground and use this code to destroy all the aliens. But he needs to get a flash drive with the code on it. The only way we can do that, because I'm sure Amazon isn't delivering right now. Actually, psych. Yes, they are, because they have this thing called Amazon Prime Drone.
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you.
How?
Prime Air.
Prime Air, something Amazon speedy delivery, even at the end of time. This is so stupid. I'm about to lose my goddamn mind. Mark flies a drone, ends up getting hit or something, and it falls over and like turtles over, and they're able to hack into a nearby person's phone and give them a $1,000 Amazon gift card to turn the drone over, which again, in the apocalypse, what the am I gonna do with the gift card? Who's gonna deliver my packages in the intergalactic apocalypse? Like, y'all priorities are I can't. Anyway, so eventually he's able to deliver the flash drive to Will, and kind of understanding that the closer he gets to the data center, the more bugs there'll be. So it's kind of like a suicide mission, but he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna save the world. So he goes, he plugs in the flash drive and he saves the world. All of the aliens go and they blow up, and the government's like, oh, sweet, let's not blow up DHS, because I guess that would be very expensive, assuming we don't all die in the apocalypse. But Will miraculously survives the suicide mission and is offered a higher position of his security job, this time for the president. And he says no, because there are things that I can do with this other than looking at his Amazon carts. Why do they keep saying this? I'm losing my mind. Oh my God. And yeah, the movie ends with Will finally making up with his kids and actually going to the baby shower, and they take pictures and they all live happily ever after. Absolute horseshit. This movie sucks ass. Bad movie. Bad movie. Boo. But again, in a way that's kind of nostalgic. I haven't seen something this bad in a hot minute. They don't make them trash like they used to. This is an hour and a half I'll never get back. And the only good thing that comes about it is that I can make a shitty video on YouTube and commiserate. If you saw the movie, feel free to let me know what you thought of it down in the comment sections below. Are there other terrible movies that you think I should watch? Feel free to put those recommendations down in the comment section as well. I've also talked about so many shitty movies on my channel. If you're newer to me, I have a whole playlist of watching garbage, and it's very, very long and extensive, ranging years. So if you would like to see any of those videos, that'll be linked up above somewhere or linked in the comment section. Have at it. Go off, sish. Follow me on social media, Instagram and Bluesky, both of which are KennieJD, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.